That was so scary to film.
Hi everyone, welcome back. So as you guys may or may not know, I work in a lot of different media. It's just part of my process. I'm a very big experimenter and I like to switch things up really often to keep myself stimulated, keep learning. It's just a really big part of my art process. That was kind of the objective with this sort of challenge. This was like right before I went on vacation. I just wanted to get all my little art jitters, my creative needs out before leaving and taking a break from work. I just made art and I wanted to discuss my process with each medium with you guys. A big medium for me is paper collaging, and this can look a lot of different ways. But for me personally, usually it's going to be me creating my own paper to use to make collages. So I will use mediums like watercolor or gouache or pencil, colored pencil, marker, stuff like that to create a lot of different textures and a lot of different colors to use in my paper collage pieces. So I had actually prepared these beforehand, and I also ended up scanning them and importing them so that I could use them for textures over my digital work. But yeah, I had these pre-made and then I was like, it's finally time to get some collaging done, and I ended up making 4. I kind of went along the theme of toys that I like. Toys, and especially vintage toys, are a really big part of my life and my interests. I love collecting things, but especially toys that mean something to me. So I decided to make little toy collages. It felt like something that was very easy and fun. Since it wasn't a new concept that I had to make up, I could just kind of look up reference photos and make my own collage from there. But yeah, I ended up making this little series. As you can see, I don't always follow exactly the color that is from the reference picture. I just kind of try to find interesting ways to portray the shape that something is, just kind of like implying shape instead of directly following it. But as far as supplies go as well, definitely X-Acto knives and the Tombow roll-on adhesive are like my best friends. I've made a few paper cut collages today. I think this one's my favorite. This one's so cute. But yeah, I made 3 today and it made time go by so fast. And I really love them. I love how weird they are. I love how funky they are. The Monchichi's a little bit scary, but I kind of love him. And I do want to make 2 more. I want to make a Hangyodan one. And I don't know who I want to be the 3rd. But I do want to make 2 more so I can have 5. Day 2 of this challenge, and I have this sketch that I did a while back. I actually did it on a Sketch With Me video with you guys, and I've been thinking about painting it for a long time. It's a little me as an Animal Crossing villager, and I think I want to finally get it done. So I have this little wood canvas. It's a little bit different than the wood blocks that I normally paint onto. This one's like thinned out a bit, and it's also seems to be like a thinner, lighter wood, so it might absorb a little bit more liquid. But yeah, I'm just gonna do an acrylic painting of that on here just because it's an idea that's been sitting in my brain for a while, and I know when I have ideas that have been like marinating in my little head for a long time, I know it's gonna feel really good to finally like get it out of me. And I think I'm gonna try sketching with colored pencil this time, because normally I sketch with paint, but I think I'm just gonna sketch with a colored pencil. So, like I said, I usually like to paint with acrylic on wood. I used to only do it on canvas, but I just, like I said, tend to prefer the way that wood absorbs the excess paint and moisture more than the canvas. I feel like canvas absorbs a lot, and I know if you take your time and you really gesso it well, it shouldn't do it as much, but I'm lazy. So yeah, I usually, whenever I use acrylics, I will use wood boards, and then these are the two brands of acrylics that I use. I have the Liquitex Heavy Body, and then I recently bought myself my first golden acrylics. Those are kind of like the designer brand of acrylic paints. So I've never had them before, but I recently bought myself some because I told myself as I started running out of my Liquitex colors that I could buy replacements of the golden ones. So that's what I've been doing, and the quality is definitely there. Like the Liquitex Heavy Body acrylics are really good, but the golden ones are on another level. But I have been painting acrylic, as you may or may not know. I've been painting with acrylic for 5-6 years now, so I'm very comfortable with it. I know what sort of techniques I like to use with it because I've studied it a lot. So this sort of like neon orange color that I put underneath, the purpose of it is just to kind of keep the colors cohesive and give it more of a warm tone. In school, they taught us to do more of like a muted orange underneath paintings, but you can use literally any color. People use pink, blue, purple, green, whatever, and whatever underpainting color you use will just kind of give your painting an overall mood. And mine just lately has been neon orange. Just keep kicking up the neons lately. I've been really into that. Sorry, Clammy. So my little painting is pretty much finished. I'm not like extremely happy with it. I would say that I think I'm gonna end up redoing the face actually, because I think there needs to be a little bit more going on here. I made my skin tone a bit too dark because I kind of wanted to keep it saturated. Whenever I do a more realistic skin tone, it gets a little bit difficult for me to feel like the color looks good with like other colors that I like to include. So I wanted to keep it pretty rich and saturated. So it ended up a little bit darker, but that's okay, because if I scan this digitally, I can just manipulate the colors, which is the beauty of digital. Finished this on Saturday. This ended up taking me 2 days. And then I didn't make any art Sunday or Monday. In my defense, Sunday and Monday were the first days of my period, so I was just dying, and I think I was like, okay, I think I am allowed to relax for a bit. But now I am really missing doodling on my iPad, so I'm gonna take another idea that I have in my sketchbook just because that's normally what's best to do, at least for me. Whenever I try to sit down at my iPad and I look at the blank Procreate canvas and I try to just come up with something on the spot, it normally, not always, but a lot of the times it doesn't produce art that I'm very proud of, or it just makes the process a lot more painful than it has to be, whereas I could just like doodle a bit in my sketchbook and see what I come up with and then choose my favorites and draw them digitally. So that's what I'm gonna do. So my last piece of the video is of course digital. I love digital drawing, digital artwork. Growing up, I was very much an anime kid, a manga kid, and I dreamt of having Copic markers, and I've been seeing a lot of people, like artists on social media, talking about how kids who grew up really wanting Copic markers or alcohol markers kind of led to them as adults learning how to do digital art. I don't know what the correlation is with that, but I fall into that category of artists, and I love digital art. I will never let it go. It's my favorite. Like, I love working in a lot of different media, like I said in the beginning of the video, but digital will always be my favorite. It will always have my heart just because of like the versatility and the quickness and the convenience and everything. I love working digitally, and honestly, digital and traditional for me is kind of go hand in hand. They kind of inform each other in a way. Whenever I work digitally, I bring in techniques that I use traditionally, so I'll never let go of either one. But digital, it has my heart. Like I said, I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I love learning new things, digital space. So yeah, I did something digital for my last piece, and I took something from my sketchbook from a while back that I really loved, and it's kind of just been sitting in the back of my mind to redo it digitally and then post it, because I think this day was like, I was drinking a little agua fresca, that was cucumber flavored, and it was really yummy. And then I came home and I was like, I'm gonna draw myself holding my giant drink, and I did. I thought it was like a really cute concept, so I decided to do it digitally. I think my interests and my life really inform my work personally, and lately I've also been trying to get more into like characterization and stuff, kind of practice more of like the cutesy side of my style again. So yeah, that's what I was doing here. I have a lot of videos about my process as far as digital illustration goes. I personally use the app Procreate. It's just the most beginner friendly, because I kind of honestly still consider myself a beginner to maybe intermediate user when it comes to digital art, but I use Procreate and I use a lot of different brushes, but I will have some of my favorite sets down below. And like I said, I have a bunch of videos about my process, which you can watch. But in this piece particularly, I was bringing in sort of like the marker feel. That's what I've been into lately. So I was wanting this piece to kind of reflect a little bit of that marker charm that the original piece had in my sketchbook. And then I also add in like a little bit of a colored pencil element to it as well. So I like to keep my digital work really loose and kind of referencing traditional work, even though I could just make it traditionally, but like I said, I like having fun digitally, so I like meshing the two. And yeah, that's my third and last piece. And that is the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. It was originally meant to be a creating art every day for a week challenge, but it didn't end up happening that way, but I think it's okay, and I kind of took the opportunity to show you guys a little bit of my process more so, and some of my favorite media, and just like go a little bit more in depth on what I was thinking when I was making these pieces, because I think these 3 pieces that I made kind of like really sum up me as an artist really well. So I hope you enjoyed. I wanted to share a little bit of my process with you. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one. Before closing out today's video, I wanted to talk about the sponsor, which is of course Squarespace. They are a longtime supporter of this channel, and if you don't know who Squarespace is, they are an all-in-one platform where you can create your very own website, and it is the platform that I have always used to run my website, my online art business, my portfolio, all that fun stuff. They have a brand new fluid engine for website design, which basically just means that website design and customization is a lot easier, it runs a lot smoother, and you can really get into the nitty-gritty and get those small little details that really matter to you. I just did a makeover of my website with their new fluid engine, and it looks amazing. It's like my dream website right now. So if you are interested in Squarespace, you can go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and you can use my code for 10% off your first purchase.